My name is Senna. Let's talk some politics. Me mobi di akwaba eba sa platform way so. The breaking news coming through, and I'm sure most of you have heard, is that His Excellency John Dramani Mahama has nominated 7 judges to the Supreme Court, and that is the official letter coming from the Secretary of the President in the person of Dr. Callistus Mahama to the acting Chief Justice in the person of Justice Bafuboni. And so basically that's the letter, the names of Omwa Yamo appointment no and no and now Omwa ya nominate Omono and no never. So what's going to happen is that the Judicial Council is going to sit down, check through the list, and then see whether these people are competent to go to the Supreme Court. And then the Judicial Council is going to advise the President whether the President should appoint these people to the Supreme Court. And then the President will decide whether he should take the advice or not. And so basically, since it's the President who has now, sent this letter to the Judicial Council, it simply means that's what the President wants, okay? And so basically that's what the President is going to do. And so we should be expecting to see 7 more judges at the Supreme Court, okay? And then already there are 14 judges at the Supreme Court. Into 7 eba become 19. A lot of people are commenting and saying this is no good. Packing the Supreme Court is no good because there are already 14 judges, and in a country where you have just about 30 million people, you don't need even 14 judges. What you say? And Mahama this 7 ababeka not to say 14 plus 7. The Mahama dia ka ho ne de. Not to say see an judges no omo baba bedoso. So people are speaking against that and all that. But for me personally, I feel this is a good move, and then this will at least, if for nothing at all, will sort of change the perception Ghana for Ashas have over the judiciary, especially the Supreme Court. And I'm going to explain so you understand that. So basically, that's that. I think this is a good move from the President, and then you get it. Now, you see, yesterday I said something, and today I'm going to say that thing again. You can see a sea or a river and decide to call it a desert. You can see a river or a water body or a sea and decide to call it a desert. You calling a sea or a water body a desert doesn't mean indeed it is a desert. And so you can name whatever you want to name. You can call it your own name, but there's reality. I have told you, Ghana Krumo Ayeti, we like deceiving ourselves. In the sense, the judiciary, no judges, no. Omonya corrupt. Judges are not biased. Judges are professionals. Inti, President Akufo-Addo can appoint a judge. Sa judge na or your MPP for chairman. And okoko dane MPP, parliamentary candidate. But yebe appointing on near the Naba Supreme Court. Uko kan yebeka so sisi ano wa professional inti wako Supreme Court no kodi asemwa onye MPP ni wo. We can decide to deceive ourselves. As if we are not humans. As if yeni nano we don't have emotions. As if yeni nano we don't make decisions based on an emotions. We can decide to deceive ourselves like that, but there is a reality. People see judges say you're corrupt, but in this country we saw judges be crowned some years ago. Wamuji aponchi ene bayere edidi case etiankro for ewo krumha. We saw that, and so we can decide to lie to ourselves, but the perception for afa on the judiciary, you can't change that. And truly, so we have Ghana now. We share the last 8 years. You see, the perception of the judiciary, are conform, and the major factor, especially at the Supreme Court, and a major factor, and they say mostly judges be brave. Over 90% of the judges are a Supreme Court, and the President Akufo-Addo now appoint you. Currently, we have 14 judges at the Supreme Court. No, currently I think we have it should be 12 or so. But the infant say 14. I showed the list, okay. Let's say we have 14 judges at the Supreme Court. And then President Akufo-Addo appointed 12 of those judges. You see, what happens with that, and they say, when there is any controversial case at the Supreme Court, when they say, judges are yebe panel omono, omobeye judges are President Akufo-Addo and appoint yomo, and they are called Supreme Court. So what do we see? From no, and a Ghana, ye shall say yehu, unanimous 7, unanimous 5, unanimous decision. Because listen, unanimous decisions no in Ghana Supreme Court no na enya adie bia ye experience it. That is why in 2012 election petition, okay, 2012 election petition ne kra no, judges 7 and 80 case ne so no 4 edima eye His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and a 3 edima eye President Akufo-Addo. Because at time no now we share judges are not a Supreme Court for now. Ni bibia say president we no the judges we ni ba. Intina the Supreme Court judges no they were balanced. Intini a case ye ni bibia say unanimous. The funny thing about the unanimous thing and they say interform po omo adwen enyepe. Interform po omo adwen enyepe. Now so you betumi asesa 7 judges atena case so. Now, 7 judges, no, you not even get 1 judge dissenting. And every single person saw, say, it was as if that the judges were whipped in line. They were acting as if, say, wamu parliamentarians are a chief whip, in line. Because 7 judges on the case, not even 1 dissenting view. Every single one of them whipped in line, allegedly. It didn't look good. It didn't give the judiciary a good look. And that accounted for the perception Ghana for shares yes womunya on the Supreme Court judges say womu corrupt, womu biased, womu political no. And no eka humbi. That is why that time no a former Chief Justice in the person of Madam is it Sofia Kufu, who allegedly is President Akufo-Addo nebusiani eba bontemba be can say judges net Supreme Court no cases are nansinya ba wo mudi no they are too predictable. Because case be to me ko Ghana ni betumi atena ni baby na waka say case we ya ko Supreme Court or there judges no omo de beba say unanimous 7 omo ni na bedi akọ this way unim ni ntia because Ghana ni nehu say judges na ya form de atena case ni so ya mpa na omo de atena case ni so no omo ni na ye judges President Akufo-Addo na de omo bae. Out of 14 judges Akufo-Addo appointed 12. Ti ye di case no near the judges 7 obonsi ye the 7 President Akufo-Addo de omo bae na atena so. Ti Ghana need to me predict the outcome of the case, and at the end of the day the Ghana ni ne kind no sa pepepe. Kevin Taylor yebi case bi sa bae or predicted the outcome of the case. Eka say ni asem o kan pepepe. It is a Kevin Taylor eka tire say judges no mokoko jisika say omko jisika say ya. How are you able to say Kevin Taylor is lying? Because he was able to predict the case weeks and days before even the case no judgment ebae. And so former chief justices were worried. Said judges about Supreme Court no the omo ye na entwa ye. The National Security Minister in the person of Kandapa any the Judicial Service for Okomu program bi or katre womo plain say osre for the security of this country in saying cases eba ne senior judges need the case no wo the judges ni share den dibi ema the other side because senior na cases eba judges need na unanimous or moko one side no ama obi ehun say judges no mo ye biased inti judges the case no osre eba odi omu inti every time no na be a judges na eba ebi mu dissent ubon say case bi beba na judges no ebi mu dissent na Ghana for say hey for the very first time I say judges Supreme Court judges Akufo-Addo appoint omu dissent. It was after the meeting the national security boss oni omu kokko have the program or call you know what he said. So the fact of the matter is say His Excellency John Dramani Mahama appointing 7 new judges to the Supreme Court. At least, if it's not even able to do anything physically, Krana, the perception of Ghana fuenya on the Supreme Court, no, it will change it. Because you see, and that's a fair case. Now, if you are 7 judges on a case, you are rest assured. Say, the 7 judges, they are not going to come from judges that President Akufo-Addo appoint you. Ube who say 7 judges, no. If you are 3 be free Mahama, because on also the new 7 about 3 a free ABR President Akufo-Addo so ni akwa 1 from Kufuor. It at least the panel no is balanced. And for me, I think say this is good. It is okay. People are complaining about the number because you see America crowd or more also saying crano ukowa or more Supreme Court judges here 12 pe and a Ghana ye say Supreme Court judges ababe bebre say listen, the truth of the matter is me I will prefer many Supreme Court judges than Ghanaians beginning to have perception say the judges are corrupt or the judges indeed being corrupt. It is better to have more judges so that the perception no ever say na Ghana for aba benya gidie ewo ye judiciary nimu. Listen, people don't understand this, but the judiciary is a very important part of our democracy. Say Ghana for worried that the last place they run to is the judiciary. It is a name na judiciary no na say ya. You see, we are going to cause chaos in this country because judiciary no it has saved a lot of chaos in this country. Obi wo ho obi akwa wi na sase onu ni trimu asebema no ebia adwen aba ni trimu se won ko fa etuo no nko boni pakro no nku no, but because you will be to say court judiciary wo ho nti we hu ni say let's go and litigate me nko tre court no me document e tre sase ne ye media. It has stopped some chaos. Ni pekumbi akoso wo ho ni pekumbi ananke wo say ekoso no ejai no e wo ho. So if Ghanaians are beginning to have perception say judiciary no corrupt, onya case one call baby a wodi ni case no be fa bia wodi be fa. So be kwa kobo pa se ni pakro ni embu no ni empra no yenye ni bibi wodi be fa. We hear a lot of those stories. There was a story where recently a man ana was say ono edi ni sika create a paint company. Wako pay investor. At the end of the day, investor no ebabeji company ni free him. The man was crying bitterly. So asemi koko pie wo court no. E say na investor no was sikanti. Investor no was able to buy the judge. The man was crying say ade na judge no dey aye no no. Are you serious? Say judges wo mo yes ade no. E ye worse in am robber mpo e de etuo sini so egi ni sika. The man was bitterly crying. So the judiciary, no, it is a serious part of our democracy. So at least this move from His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, no, it is at least going to shape the perception again. Ghanaians are now going to see, say, oh, Supreme Court was this year Mahama Sonkro for oh Sadia and any Akufo-Addo Penkro for Newo. Because first, the perception was that Akufo-Addo Penkro for Newo. It will be person the case go Supreme Court krana. No or dream twice. I deal with me krana Akufo-Addo Penkro for we but and there. Obenya perception is say, oh, Mahama Nkrofo so wo. Intimate the kwa at least masem ni ebetie. What does it do? Nipakono has believed in the judiciary because of appointment to His Excellency John Dramani Mahama we make it. The NPP are obviously not going to be happy about it. But these are the same people that will share here. Ghana has said no president has appointed more judges than President Akufo-Addo. No president in the history of this country. So you call the lower courts and the number of judges Akufo-Addo appointing the lower courts we are going into double figures, over 30s and 40s. But we are all sitting in this country and the MPP saw that as right. But then Mahama Baya or by appointed 7 to the Supreme Court. No, who the MPP for on measures so move soon this year. That's why I tell you, say now the MPP has become a party of hypocrites. It is a good news. The 7 judges will at least perception and crow forward against the Supreme Court judges. No, it is going to start clearing up the negative perception. No, at least a better chance to say clear up. Yeah, I'm trying to comment box.